So I know I talked to you last week from the seat of democracy of the Western world. Well, I got to tell you, we have crazy stuff going on here as always. So last night I got out in back of the restaurant and we had, got this alert that we were going to have a storm, and over Nichols Hills was a forming tornado. And evidently it moved to the west. And then this other politician friend of mine took a picture of it and it had grown 10 times the size. But I got the first photo over here. And then it just tore up a bunch of stuff. As usual, it's Oklahoma, it's tornado season.
The movie Twister's premise is completely based on Oklahoma.
They were not lying. So maybe since we're doing this on YouTube, are we able to talk about that Corey DeSantis guy that I sent you the news deal on? Okay. Because this is going to be a big deal. And the reason it's going to be a big deal is you have all of these Christian churches tied in with this guy who used to be a corn star. Star is way too big of a term. He's probably 19 or 20, but I saw that his pre-filming video of, where he lost his virginity or whatever you want to call it. And he's doing the stupid prelim deal. He is the guy that is the intermediary between Texas money and Oklahoma specifically, but other states probably as well. And he's the school voucher evangelicist. I mean, even his terms are all religious. And for him to turn out to have been a gay porn person makes it even more interesting.
Some of these stories you can't make them up.
You can't make them up. So right now in Walter's close circle of friends, we've got a guy accused of rape. The woman doesn't want to come forward because she's scared of all of these people. And it sounds pretty valid. The details of it were pretty intriguing. So you've got a gay former porn star, for lack of a better word. And then you've got a couple of religious guys, and then a guy that went to Catholic school but vehemently claims not to have been Catholic, like somebody else I know. You wouldn't know who I'm talking about there.
John, there is no website we can log into and unsubscribe.
Right. So that's his inner circle. And then he's got this kid that's obviously got a crush on him from somewhere in Northeast Oklahoma that's now working down at Oklahoma State Department of Ed. And he gets on social media. He's like, these people are saying lies. I don't know. And I'm like, why don't you just come out, dude? I'm a Democrat. We don't care. I mean, we all know what's happening here. So we just call him Ryan's boy toy. I accidentally came up with something pretty funny this past week, if you want to hear it. So
go ahead.
Ryan Walters,
you've been traveling for a while and shit has gone down.
I needed to leave town to make shit exciting, evidently. So the best thing to do with Ryan Walters' name, if you know anybody that's using it or putting it out there, put the letter A in front of Ryan, and it's Arian Walters. Sure. And it was an accident. And somebody was like, "You were so creative," and I was like, "Do I take credit or do I just be honest and say it was an accident?"
But it is a good one.
I mean, you can't beat it. He was the WP guy. So I know I talked to you last week from the seat of democracy of the Western world. Hey, the food there was dynamite. And I've honestly never been a fan of Greek food. I'm just not, because what we're presented with in America is pretty lame.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that happens quite a lot when people, like especially foreign cooks, try to tone it down to figure out what people like, and they lose the true food itself.
Yeah. But everything I ate over there was great. And I would say Croatia, out of tourism season, is dynamite. The Dubrovnik, where I was, absolutely dynamite. I would live there. The stairs were killing me, bro. I literally need to go to a masseuse because my thigh still hurt.
Was that the place that we should go visit at some point? You were telling me.
We really need to. It is. It just really is. It was everything I thought it was going to be, and that rarely works out that way. But not during peak season, because we had a couple of days where the cruise ships had shown up and stuff, and I just wanted to leave. But they were only there for 2 hours. They walked through the downtown, look, and they take pictures of stairs rather than walking them, because God forbid we do anything healthy.
See, but also, Sean, you should understand that people who take cruises and get down the country are not really very adventurous.
No.
So you can't expect them to take
peek through
space.
the windows, right? They want to peek through
Mhm.
the windows of life. But it was,
Yeah.
I would do both places again, but not for a while because there's too many other places. I think you're on my list next, so gotta go see what sickness I can pick up over there.
Oh, hell yeah. Or maybe it'll build your immunity so much because Alex used to always make fun of me that I used to rarely fall ill. Like it's probably all the superbugs you're exposed to in India.
That you got. So my traveling companion, my other widower friend, now she was married for 40 years. I was only married for 23. She was married for 40, and that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
But she was like, "You will just basically eat anything," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't eat raw fish, and I really don't eat raw meat. I don't know what people are into that kind of stuff, but I've been cooking for 40 years, and I pulled more bugs, live worms, all this other shit out of food." And if you eat that, it eats you. I mean, that's just the way it works. It doesn't go out the poopy hole. It finds a new home.
Can I tell you, you're the person who made me get grossed out by steak because you were like, "Did you cut that steak? It looks really thick." And I was like, "Why?" You're like, "Dude, there are worms sometimes in those muscles." I was like, "Oh, God damn it, Sean."
Sorry. Well, so here's the thing. If most food grows in fertilizer, what is fertilizer? Poop. And the reason I tell you this, so my cousin had a dairy farm, and the dog would go out and round up the cows, and they would line up, like literally they're organized, line up, and then the dog would start barking, and then they would all relieve themselves, and that's what they used to shoot back out on the grass. I mean, so if you don't think cleaning your vegetables is a good idea, you might want to go to a farm for a day, find out how. I mean, look, because we all they wash them off. You know, even in California where water is short, you got to wash everything. But you got to take some care of your food. You know, it's been somewhere. It's
But a
been
lot of
somewhere.
times they say that when you travel, most of the times you fall ill because of all the raw stuff you eat. Like a lot of people will go to another country and they'll try the salad, and they do not know that that is probably the worst thing to eat rather than the cooked piece of strange meat.
Okay. So let's think about the simplest thing with lettuce. Okay, in the fields, it's this big, and then it gets packed and it's this big. So when they're in the fields and they're pulling it, what kind of people work in the fields? Migrants, not immigrants, migrant immigrants. There's a whole story up in Iowa of trying to hire Americans for those jobs, by the way.
Oh, nice.
It's pretty good. It's a whole show in itself. It really is.
Who goes there? Like just hipsters on the show trying to go and
No, they were literally like, "Okay, you guys are complaining because we have immigrants working here. Anyone that wants to show up, we will take you." And of the like 3 people who showed up, they lasted about 2 hours. It is backbreaking work, and people don't understand what goes into your dollar meal at McDonald's or your dollar item. You know, they just literally don't understand it. But so think about somebody that works in the fields. There's no bathroom. There's no porta potty. They got to go kind of where they're at. And they're not carrying a roll of toilet paper along with them. So it's right hand, left hand. What's your guys' deal? Is it work with the left, shake with the right? How's it work in India? To be safe, when you go into a rural community.
Right is better, left don't.
Right. So Peru is the same way, and you know, Americans would automatically stick their hand out, and you're like, no, nobody shakes hands here. No. They'll do an arm, you know, if you want to do that, but it's still, you know, you're still smearing whatever you got. Yeah, I mean, we are animals at the end of the day. We're just supposedly thinking.
That's why I think India, we just said namaste and we moved on with our day.
Right. It probably is the healthiest thing you guys could do. So I was reading about stuff in 1971 where India being broken up by the British and moving into Pakistan and Bangladesh. And it's literally almost, we were an hour away from World War III. I don't even know. Do you know that?
I have heard about it, but I don't know the intricate details.
Yeah, rolled their fleet through, and the Russians were on the other side, and they were like, "Hey, you bring your fleet through, you have no business being here. We're going to shoot it all down." And whatever the line in the sand was, we got an hour away, and whoever the Bangladeshi guy was brought up everybody he hated and killed all of them, then resigned. Public square, executed everybody.
I'm telling you, like the number of times I think globally we have been so close to like World War III, and none of us even knew about those days. Right. Those are the weirdest ones.
I have never heard about that ever. And you think of how big you guys are, we would know more because you seem to know more about us over here than we know about you over there.
I'm pretty sure, except for the weird part that, okay, so I was talking to a comic just before I went on stage the other day. I do
Yeah.
not know where he gets his news from, Sean, but he was insisting to me that kids go to school and get gender reassignment surgery. And I was like, dude, you're in India. You've never left this country. What news websites are you reading? He's like, no, it was on the local news here. And I was like,
Oh,
what?
well,
So it's like
well,
a
I mean,
weird thing.
your guy's kind of aligned with our guy.
Mm,
So here's my take on all this now. So we got this DeAngelis guy. So
mm,
for a year now, we've had this drumbeat of there's porn in the school libraries, and if there were, boys would be in there reading. That's how
mm,
we know it's not happening. I mean,
yeah.
that's how you know it's not a lie. Boys are pretty predictable. And then it turns out they didn't want us to find porn in there because porn star was the guy bringing all the money to the table to get the laws changed so the Catholic Church could get all this money from these other places. That's just a fact. This is the
Mm-hmm.
guy. Now, once again, how my Catholic Church is aligned with this guy and didn't do their research is just shocking, which is the reason you don't want all men in charge.
Mm-hmm.
There's no balance. And so my long-term fight is, why are no mothers at the table? Not Moms for Liberty. That's all fake. I'll see those bitches tomorrow. And we're going to be talking about it. They talk about porn in the class, and we're going to be talking about their porn star that brought everything. And this guy is in photos with everybody here. And he came to a couple of meetings. He interviewed me. He was trying to do a fake news thing. Why are you against this? And I'm like, well, because this. And he was like, you got nothing to say, man? You're the shittiest reporter I've ever seen. But I knew he was an operative. And he has probably made tens of millions of dollars doing this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So eventually we all have to take a look and go, the people that are for this are Moms for Liberty who are nut jobs. We get this Chaya Rychek in that bomb threats follow her everywhere she goes and whoever she complains about. And now we got a gay porn star and the Catholic Church. Literally. And we're talking about University of Notre Dame Liberty Law Clinic, the Yale of Catholic universities. Are all tied in together. I mean, it's sad. So then you got an accused rapist on Walter's staff. You've got another guy that was Walter's original campaign manager that went to jail for raping a 16-year-old boy, not a girl, a boy. And these are our education policymakers.
Oh, wow. This is like
we need to rewrite
weird.
our script wasn't bad enough.
I know, like our entire show that we wrote, the pilot.
Yeah.
I used to tell you, tone that down, and you were like, dude, I'm just reading it from a police report.
Right. It's real. Right. This shit happened. So I'm not feeling, I got a couple of weeks of rest and people didn't bother me, even though a whole bunch of stuff happened. But I literally was like, I could not get on TikTok appropriately. I couldn't WhatsApp. It didn't work for me over there. I did get rid of it and re-download it to be able to talk to you today. So I no longer feel like I'm in this vortex, but what I got is a 1,500-foot view. And I'm like, chess player here, chess player here. So all of these guys are pushing biblical references. And the stuff that is actually talked about in there instead of homosexuality is called sexual perversion, pre-1946. That's what all of this stuff is. These are older men messing with younger boys in a power position. That's what the actual Bible was talking about. Have we gotten too deep? Did I go too far today?
Yeah, it's usually what we do, Sean. We just try to bum the hell out of people.
Just try to get them to change stations. Come on, man, one more thing. One more. But isn't that all just crazy? And I am literally in the middle of it.
This is like the opposite.
That didn't sound right. I am not in the middle of it. I'm on the outside watching all the idiots in the middle.
It used to be this shitty thing that we used to do at our firm where anytime I needed my attorney, John, to do something, right? He had two other attorneys that he was partners with. So they would show up, like all three of them, for one meeting just to talk to me. And I would always be like, why is the dream team here? I called one of you. I don't need 3 billable hours.
$750 an hour for the dream team. That's why.
whatever team the education department has put up is like the exact opposite of these three guys.
So I'll give you another weird little caveat. So the new lawyer that was hired there has like Instagram photos and he's got a tattoo that says, if you want peace, you must plan for war. And he's like,
dude, I'm telling you, this is like this I think these guys just watched like Wolf of Wall Street, and they think that that's how people talk to each other in business settings normally. Because there was a guy here who's like a big ass CEO of like one of the largest financial applications in India. And the other day in an interview, he said something like, startups can't have people of peace, they have to have people of war. And I was like, who the fuck talks like this?
What fuck does that mean?
I know. It was like such dumb rhetoric. And I was like, dude, you're the CEO of a giant company here. Behave yourself. Like, teach people nice things.
I think I heard you say that to somebody 20 years ago. That exact thing. You're the CEO. Why don't you act like it? And I was like, I like this guy. And you weren't wrong. And you were not wrong.
I do remember that. That was my first time that you started laughing and you looked at me and you're like, you really said that? I was like, I know. You saw how he was acting.
Yes, I did. And that's probably still the same thing he's doing now. All right. What, since I've overtaken this conversation, what else would you like to talk about? I do have one more funny story if you want to hear it.
For me, I've just been stuck at venture capital meetings for a startup here, where we went in and showed them the entire presentation. They picked one slide, which is one feature of the entire system. So, and they said, I think you'll need to just focus on this. So redo the slides, make it all where you're just doing this one thing. And I was like, fine, whatever. So I've been stuck working with those fucking presentations all.
So the question is, so this is what everybody's deal is. So the professionals make something, you show it to the actual people who have money, and they go, I'll finance this one little sliver. And you're like, okay.
Sean, that's like you trying to start a restaurant and someone going like, so who's handling the tequila sales? I'll finance just that aspect of it.
Okay, I have not gotten to play with the beans yet. They look good. Those are, that's as good as it gets. So we'll get working on that. Maybe that's what we need to do. Everything with vanilla beans for our cooking segment.
Oh, hell yeah, we should. Nice.
I mean, really and true. Yeah, I mean, it's our own. Why not? But so I literally just got back 26 hours to get back. Here's something nobody runs into except me, but you with your terribly long last name. So I filled out my ticket stuff for my airplane online. Cummings is how you spell my last name. And some way or another, a like lowercase I ended up at the end of S. Nothing matched up with my passport. So my friend that I'm traveling with catches it and goes, hey, call, I call, I do all the other stuff. Finally, I just go to the airport to get it fixed. The guy fixes it for my American flight over. Absolute cluster on the way back.
I can imagine.
Cluster. And so I didn't get to eat for like 14 hours, and I know in a lot of the world that's common, but I'm used to every 3 hours getting something in the belly. But everybody's really kind. And I usually if I was in France, I'd be a little concerned. So I'm like at the fourth airport and I'm exhausted. I haven't eaten, haven't slept. And I'm dealing with this Austrian lady, which is essentially a German just from another state, literally.
Yeah.
And I show her all the stuff and I said, would you like me to explain this to you? I need no explanation from you. Like, maybe she doesn't know how that translates. But she got all my shit done, gave it back to me, and then I had no more problems. So she was the one I needed to talk to. But at the first gate, you can't even make this up, Deepak. We're early. We're like in the middle of the night. We sleep at the airport and everything. So we get up the first one. She goes, I can't fix this. You're going to have to leave the airport. And I go, what do you mean leave the airport? I've been here all night. And she goes, no, you have to go outside. You have to go upstairs. You have to go down to their office and have it straightened out. 1 mile later, I'm back and I got it fixed. But everyone was like, yeah, this is no big deal. I said, they won't let me on the plane. It's a big deal. I'm literally leaving right now.
See,
yeah, so check your spelling.
international flights are really strict on that kind of thing, where it has to be identical. And I get it why they do it. Like domestic flights, there are times where like one letter and my name is missing because it's 24 letters, Sean. I don't
Right.
really
I mean,
expect someone
I
to type
wasn't
that all.
making fun of you. I was just saying the reality of your long ass name.
Yeah, and at our airports here, like domestic flights, you usually have like military personnel who check the
Yeah.
IDs to make sure they match before they send you in. So
Right.
those guys, I usually tell them, I'm like, just look at how long that is. There's one letter missing. That's it. And they'll be like, fine, just go.
Right. Let's get out of here. In fact, you could make jokes about it. So before we go, because I know we're probably closing it on time, how's comedy rolling?
It's good, dude.
Yeah. The photos look great, and the stuff I'm seeing. So, what do you think you're hitting? Are you how much new material are you doing per night when you do a show?
Well, almost 90% new, but I change it once a
Wow.
week.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
for 1 week, I just stick to one set that is all new, except for like the
Right.
starting joke, because it annoys me that they still introduce me like all the way from Oklahoma, all the way from the US. So usually my first joke is just like, dude, I'm actually from just down the road. You can just say that. I am not going to be offended.
Nobody cares if you're from down the road, but they do care is that you've been to Oklahoma.
Mhm.
So in Croatia and Greece, they would say, "Where are you from?" And I'd say Oklahoma, and I go, "It's above Texas." And they go, "Oh, okay."
See, that's what I do here as well. I tell them like it's close to Dallas, it's close to Texas, and then they know exactly what I'm speaking of.
Well, my curiosity is the audience is it British English humor, which is what you do, or if I come over, can we hit some sets where I can do American humor?
For sure, Sean. You should understand that people my age that I run into bars who are watching these shows, they all grew up on like sitcoms like Seinfeld, Friends, and all of that. So they get those jokes. You don't even have to change the rhythm, the beats, the pauses.
Okay.
They get it all. I don't really change anything. I just do it the same way I would do it in Oklahoma.
Nice. Well, what we'll have to do when we start getting that going, because I'm running into Christmas season here in a couple of months. So I'm not making it before Christmas. I think originally we were planning on going over there now.
Yeah. October-ish.
Yeah. Right. I don't see that happening. All right. I don't know what I did. I took my earbud out and I did something weird. Am I back on yours?
Yeah, you're back. It just froze.
Yeah, so we'll just have to come up with some kind of a shtick one way or another and then play off of it. But I literally was over there and the lady I'm traveling with goes, "All you do all day long is make fun of people." And I go, "Yeah, if I do that for a job. I mean, that is literally what I do for a job every day." And she goes, "I just didn't know this side of your personality." And I go, "Well, I hope you like it." And she goes, "No, you're just funnier than I thought you would be."
Sean, that's the thing, right? Most people don't realize that. Like, if you, me, and Alex hang out together, nobody will actually know that we're responsible business people on the other side of our lives. It's like, it'll be like, these idiots just poke fun at everything.
So the first day we're in Dubrovnik, and we might have to close with this story because it's good enough. We get up in the morning and we go down to the dock, which is supposed to be a beach. There's no beach. It's like a cement pad. And there is a guy from a part of Games of Thrones literally hugging a castle, but it looks like he's inappropriately moving as his groin is up against the castle. That's the first thing I see down there. So we walk away from it because I didn't want to see what was really happening. And we sit down, and this appears to be a homeless guy, but he also has like a laptop, a real one, and he appears to be working on it. And so we're just sitting next to him, and he just starts crazy screaming at us for being loud. He's trying to work, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not being loud." He goes, "You're yelling." And I go, "No, that's actually what you're doing." And finally, I realized I'm having an argument with the homeless guy that's not 100% there. Every day we see this guy 3 or 4 times.
Oh, God.
And I was like, he is either the single best secret agent that exists because you don't want to look at him. If you were going to be a secret agent, I mean, there's no reason to follow me. I'm pretty boring outside of YouTube, outside of TikTok, but every day. And so I started taking pictures of him when I'd see him because it was that much, like every single day. And she goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Just in case something happens. I want everybody to see that every day this dude's been tracking me one way or another, and I don't have any idea why. I mean, there's no, I probably some asshole sent me some vanilla beans, and
Sean, I'm pretty sure no one's investigating our business of just exporting vanilla
I'm
beans.
kidding. That was a joke, people. That was a joke. Yeah, isn't that crazy though?
I know.
Every day. Yeah.
Like that's like the
So
world's
the
worst
funnest thing,
remote employee.
I, but he was either brilliant at his job or just had a really sad, pitiful life, and it could be one or the other.
Hmm.
Okay, so one thing we did do over there that I thought was hilarious, we had one day where we didn't have any plans, so we did the Game of Thrones tour because that's where it's filmed, Dubrovnik, from year
Oh.
2 on.
Hmm.
That was the best dang tour I probably have ever done.
Really?
And the lady's boyfriend worked on the set, so she had all these inside stories and all this other stuff. And for those of you who don't know, there's a red wedding in there. That's actually my family.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
about in
I'm aware of
Scotland.
that.
Yeah. So for the others of you watching, and I've never watched it, I've never watched the show or anything else. Neither had she. But we went on the tour because there were so many people
Hmm.
doing weird Games of Thrones things. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know it was that big of a deal.
Oh, Sean, it's huge. Like,
Right.
you know that the other day I saw a TikTok artist who posted like a funny song based on Trump saying they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats.
Right. They're
He was
eating the dogs.
he was able to fill a stadium with 400, 500 people. Like not a stadium, it was like a
Yeah,
theater.
right. A good room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he was able to sell 500 tickets. And I was like, that is how it's kind of working.
Huh.
Like
So
now when
and
you
I
see
need to.
theater majors, drama majors, ask them what they actually want to do with their lives. It'll either be TikTok, podcast, YouTuber. That's it. No one's doing theater.
Can I have another latte?
Yeah.
Is always the option. That is your joke. I just stole his joke. What do you say to a person that went to Yale Drama School? Can I have another latte, please? It's the most ruthless, honest joke ever. So, in that respect, so I can close out here, I would tell you I have used all of my acting and speech making skills for things that nobody else will defend
Hmm.
because they can't afford an attorney, they can't afford a lobbyist or anything else, so they got me, and I've done pretty well.
Yeah.
Not monetarily, I made shit. Thank God I own a restaurant.
That's the
Fed
thing,
every
right?
actor.
You can't if you're trying to defend poor people and you're trying to defend people who are like socially affected, you can't expect them to hire a fucking lobbyist, right?
Yeah, I'm the best they get, and they're like, "Where'd you go to law school?" And I go, "Dude, I'm a college dropout. I own a bar. It's much more important to own a bar than be a lawyer.
Hell
Everybody
yeah.
wants to own what I own."
Oh hell yeah.
I know. All right, homie, let's get out of here.